rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters in Islam, may Allah accept our fasting and may Allah see us through the end of Ramadan, and then may Allah let us have the chance of getting the night of power, Laylatul Qadr, for us to pray for Allah to accept our ibadah, our fasting, inshallah. I just want to remind myself and everybody to put our phones on vibrate. So far, since the beginning of the month, we have been able to successfully do that. So please put your phones on vibrate or silent so that we wouldn't disturb the translation. And then for your information before we start, inshallah, today the Tafseer, inshallah, is coming to have. We have to end the Tafseer around 7:40 because we've been invited, our Sheikh has been invited for a closing ceremony of our neighbors, Masjid Al-Nasr. They are going to end their translation today. So they've invited us, we have to honor the invitation, inshallah. So we'll stop at 7:40, inshallah. And then I keep on reminding all of us, those who want to contribute dearly for the sake of iftar, we have barely 4 days to go. Try and write your name and number and make sure that you have contributed so that you can also register your name among those who are going to get a multitudes of rewards, inshallah. So please, let us respect the code of ethics of sitting at the Majlis al-Tafsir. May Allah accept our ibadah. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. We go to our Sheikh Hafiz for the commencement, inshallah.
السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أسكنون من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهن وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن وأتمروا بينكم بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد بن عبد الله الصادق الأمين وعلى آله وصحابته الغر الميامين وعلى كل من سار على منواله واقتفى آثاره واهتدى بهداه إلى يوم القرار والثبات والدين. وبعد سلام من الله عليكم ورحمة منه وبركاته. This is Tuesday, the 25th day of the month of Ramadan, 1438 Hijri, 28 June 2017. This day is one of the days that the believers expect the glory of the month of, the night of Al-Qadr. These are the days of the odd days, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, like that. We ask Allah out of His infinite mercy to have us recorded among those that will be crowned with such a huge success, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Questions? This one says, Assalamu alaikum ya Sheikh. May Allah bless our Sheikh and increase your knowledge abundantly and all of us. Inshallah ta'ala. Wa iyana wa iyakum jami'a. Please, can you help me to know my husband's rights on me what are the responsibilities and roles I have to perform, that is towards him, in my marital house as stated by the Quran and the Hadith, towards my husband, Jazakumullah khaira wa iyyakum. Yeah, this is very important. We cannot worry about talking about the spousal rights in order to maintain good way of living in the matrimony. Briefly, the rights of your husband are: number one, ta'atuhu fil ma'ruf. You obey him if the obedience does not contravene Allah's teaching. For example, your husband cannot ask you to come out without your hijab. That is not his right. But you obey him in whatever he asks you, so long as it is within the confine of the Sharia. Under right number one, obeying him, there are other things. Like whenever he invites you to his bed, to share bed together, you don't have right to refuse. You obey him on that. Similarly, وَالسَّفَرُ مَعَهُ. If he tells you, please join me in my trip to any part of the states or beyond the state, you shall obey him, accompany your husband on a trip. If your parent demands you to join them in a trip and your husband asks you, you have to prefer your husband's right. Yeah, because you are under him squarely. الرجال قوامون على النساء. Unless otherwise you have a reason not to allow you, like you are sick, an appointment to see the doctor. In that case, there is a clash of interest. You prioritize the more important. It is part of right number one, luzumu baytihi. You remain in his home. You are the wife, he is the husband, where he keeps you. In the matrimonial cycle or dwelling, you maintain your state there, unless if he gives you permission to go out. In this connection, you came across a lot of women going for walk. Maybe to complement the meager resources. The man is walking, she too is walking because of the reality of the day. But there are a lot of things here. If you are to ask your wife to walk, to complement, to support one another, then you have to be very careful about the attendant consequence to come later. By this I mean, she goes to work, she intermingles with everybody. Then you are to explain to Allah the Almighty the justification for that. In Islam, you are going to provide for your wife everything, so as to give her the enough opportunity to take care of the home front. But if she has knowledge to render services as a nurse, as a doctor in the community especially, that will be good. At least she helps the ladies. We need that one very, very badly. At the same time, she complements the resources you have. But let it be under the command and the permission of the husband. Similarly, if you want to perform fasting, that is nafila, not obligatory, you do it with his permission. In Islam, if you are observing optional fasting, like the ones we do every Monday, every Thursday, that can only be done after the husband has given you the permission. That is the sunnah. If you are observing a nafila fasting and your husband makes advances to you, he has the right to keep your fasting aside because it's nafil, not fard. If it is obligatory, he has no that right. That is part one concerning his right, obeying him. Number two, حفظه في ماله وفي نفسها. You have to preserve him, preserve his wealth, and preserve yourself for him. What does that mean? You don't have right to touch anything belonging to him, materials, without his permission. You cannot take his phone and give it to somebody. It's my husband's property, take it, I'm dashing you. You can't do that. He too cannot do that to you too. Okay? So you make sure whatever he brings home in terms of properties for your mutual benefit should be taken care of by you properly. It is his right. Do not squander his resources or leave it prone to stealing. It is also part of his right to preserve yourself, meaning you don't care about any other person. This is your husband. You are earmarked for him. So why do you worry about other people? It becomes an act of dishonesty, talking to other men, making phone calls to them. That opens the gate of fitna because you are not preserving the right of your husband. We call this extramarital unfaithfulness. That also applies to the husband as well. Allah says, فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتُ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ. That is, the pious women are qanitat, are thoroughly obedient to Allah. They say qanitat allati taqnutu wa taqifu nafsaha li zawjiha. She preserves herself for her husband exclusively. That is why even your younger brother or elder brother doesn't have the right to get an access to your house. Yeah. Unless if it is with permission. Don't say, well, he is my brother, he's your brother, but you can marry his wife. Can't you? In Islam, if your elder brother dies, Islam does not forbid you from marrying his wife. You can marry her. Even if he does not die, he is alive, but he has divorced her. Is it permissible to marry her? He is alive, your elder brother, younger brother, divorcing his wife. He is alive. Can you marry the divorced wife? It sounds strange, but it is permissible. But is it practicable? Permissibility is one thing. Practicability is an entirely different issue. Something may be permissible, but it's very hard to practice it. But if it happens, you should know it is legal. I know it will create bad blood. Okay. Similarly, right number 3, al-khidmatu, you have to serve him. It's part of his right to serve your husband. In the house, within the house. Khidma like how? Is it obligatory on the wife to cook his food? When you look at the spirit and the letter of the text, you will not hesitate to say yes. If he can go and toil and suffer for the upkeep of the home front to bring everything, you too should do your own part. Under the spirit of وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى in Quran 5:2. So cooking the food, keeping the house tidy, preparing your kids for school, this is primarily your own duty, my sister. Do not say no. I have the right not to do it. Do not create confusion in the home front. Help one another in maintaining good living between you and your husband. Number 4, at-tazayyun wa tajammulu liz-zawj. It's also the right of the husband that you make yourself tidy, neat and clean, in a good shape. All right? Ibn Umar says, "Innahunna yashtahina minna ma nashtahihi minhun." Our wives will want to see us tidy and clean. In the same manner, we want to see them clean and tidy. So these are some of the rights. Part of his rights: do not expose his secrets to people. What does that mean? The nature of your living in the house should not be exposed to other people. You tell your friend, "Oh, I have been suffering and this man has not been feeding me." Don't do that. Discuss between you and him secretly. That is better than making it public domain. There are other things important. Respecting his parents. Do not call the name of his father just nakedly. You just have some title like Papa has said, or Al-Haji, or Sheikh, or whatever. Get a title that signifies what? Honoring. This also applies to the husband concerning his wife. Among other instances under this question. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa bihi tawfiq. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. I have traveled once on an aircraft. I didn't know how to pray on the aircraft, how to determine time for prayers, and how to position myself in prayers. Can you please briefly illustrate on this? Jazakallah khair wa iyyakum. Yeah, prayer while you are on board is necessary. But how do you go about it? Especially the clear texts talk about praying if you are on sea. Because Safina, the boats, were then known during the Sahaba. But aircraft were later inventions. So the ulama perform what is called analogical deduction, analogy qiyas. They deducted the ruling concerning aircraft in the light of the availability of the ships, the boats as then. If you leave JFK, for example, to any part of the world, and on board the time of prayer mid-air, the time to pray arrives. Especially you are very careful in knowing the time well. You don't know the Qibla, what do? Expectedly, you have already performed your ablution, or you go to the restroom in the aircraft, perform your ablution, come out, sit properly in your seat or on your seat, depending on the class you are traveling by. First class, business class, or the economy. I know if it is first class status, the services are what? Higher. Maybe you have chances. Business class too ranks next to first class, I feel. Depending on the situation. So somebody with first class status, business class, should be said to be the one that has more demand on him to pray. I am also saying the one with economy also has demand on him. Regardless of the direction of the aircraft, just do your takbir. Yeah. Yes, you do your takbir, you pray standing. But the ulama are saying if you fear of the nature of, traveling, you just pray seated. You assume this is the Qibla. فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. You assume this is the Qibla, Allahu Akbar. Then you do istiftah, you read your Fatiha, Surah, then prostrate, Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا لك الحمد حمدا كثيرا to the end of it. Allahu Akbar. Lower than the ruku. Do not use anything to put your head on. That is baseless. The ruku should be higher than the sujood. You know how to conduct the first rak'ah. You sit, you go back to sujood, then you rise for the second sujood, seated. That's how you do it. And at the end of it, even if you arrive in a destination, you have already performed your prayer. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا. This is your wus'a. You don't have to trouble your mind. I think I have to take it again. Okay, what did you do then? Why did you do it? So those of us not praying mid-air, thinking, let me until I arrive, how can you convince yourself of arriving? You are totally controlled by Allah. Pray, that is your time, your hour. Allahu a'lamu bihi tawfiq. Naam. That is concerning nafila if it is in a boat or ship. If it is nafila on the back of your camel, you make the camel face the qibla, then you ignite the prayer facing the qibla. Then you just keep your praying wherever it faces. But in this case, if you can convince yourself that the aircraft faces the qibla, then you make your intention facing the qibla, then after taking off, wherever it faces, you have no problem. But in this case, you're now mid-air now. You are now mid-air. What do? Do according to your ability. Wallahu a'lam. He said, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I would like to know what is qabli and ba'di. Qabli is from the word qabl. Qabl means before. Ba'di is from ba'd, after. Lillahi al-amru min qablu wa min ba'du. So qabl means the remedial sujood, remedial, that you offer in order to make some corrections. If you have forgotten, you've added something to your prayer, addition attracts to prostration after the prayer, That is called sujood al-ba'di. But qabli is done when you have reduced something. Like you have forgotten to read surah. You just go ahead to your ruku. You didn't recite surah. Then that's deficiency you have. That deficit, all right, should be made to be filled. Fill in the gap by offering sujood while sitting before 10 minutes of prayer. So qabli is done when something is missing. Badi is done when something has been added. Wallahu a'lam. If you do any of the two, it is accepted. Can you make dua by calling out to companions that participated in the Battle of Badr? I don't get you. What do you mean? Can you? Okay, some of the Sahaba that participated in the Battle of Badr, can you make dua by calling their names? If you mean Oh, Ya Hamza, Allahumma gfir laka ya Hamza. Even though Hamza died in the battle of Uhud, not Badr. The example of a Sahabi that died in Badr, who is that? Sa'd ibn Khaythama, for example. Sa'd ibn Khaythama was among the Sahaba that died in Badr, about 14 of them. Can you call his name? Allahumma gfir warham warda an Sa'd ibn Khaythama. It's okay if you call the name, but it's not necessary to call the name. It's not necessary. You just pray for them. That is okay. Wallahu a'lam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is in Arabic. All right. All right. If you mean, oh Allah, I ask you because of the eminence, the preeminence of this man, answer my dua, that is bid'atic. Is bid'atic and not sunnatic. You cannot do that. It is concoction, fabrication, and has no reward. It attracts for you even sin. You don't even say bijahin nabi. We don't have it in the sunnah. Let alone somebody else. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. He says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. قوم قد كان كل رمضان عند ليلة القدر يذبحون البقار ليطعم بها أهليهم ويتصدقون بالباقي هل هذا بدعة؟ هو سأل أن بعض من الناس يذبحون الأبقار عند ليالي القدر ويطعمون ويتصدقون بها بالباقي هل هذا بدعة؟ That some people slaughter cows during the night of Laylatul Qadr, feeding people because of the night. Is that bid'ah? If you feel, if by so doing you feel it's part of the ibadah, if you believe it is part of the sunnah to do it, then it is bid'ah. Get it well. If in your mind you intend that it's something annual, you have to do it annually. You are propagating the same message. It is part of the deen to slaughter it. Then you are introducing a new form of ibadah again, without any proof. But ordinarily, I'm just feeding people without nothing in my mind. It's okay. So it depends on your intention. Feeding people naturally is good, alhamdulillah. But if you add something, it's part of sunnah because of this night. There should be extra ibadah, slaughter, that is outlandish, it is bid'atic, is bestless and not rewardless. And it is not rewardful. So today we have a lot of questions. If a young man has found a good woman with good character and iman, but his parents said they have someone else for him. Get it well. The young man found a good woman with good character and good iman. So all the qualities of marriage are fulfilled by her. But unfortunately, his parents told him they have already penciled down someone for him. Someone has been earmarked for him. Does he have to marry the new woman or has a right to deny? That is how he wrote it. Who is the new woman here? Maybe he wants the one that his parent asked him to marry. Now, if your parent insists that you should marry the one they have chosen for you as against your choice, then you have made a mistake first. In order to make sure there is no problem in this case, you should have first told your parents, Baba, Mama, I am looking for the hand of a lady elsewhere. because they feel they have right on you. Even though they cannot choose for you your life partner. But it is important you consult them. It's out of respect. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, with nakira, goodness of all forms. So first you have told them, Baba, I want to marry, not in America, I want to go to Africa or Caribbean. Tell them, what is your take on this? At least hear their views. In Africa, they say the words of our elders are the words of wisdom. What, not all times anyway. But at least listen to them to hear their parental intake out of courtesy. But for them to hear from the blues, you are bringing an entirely new thing to them, how will they feel? So you are making the mistake first. I agree. She is good in character, attitude. She has the Quran. I accept it. But your parent or your parent. So if they interjected, they opposed you, you are the manufacturer of your trouble. So now, you have to go to them. Try to placate them. Try to please them. Baba, this one is religious. This one fears Allah. He tells you the one I am giving fears Allah too. Papa, she is beautiful. The one I am giving you is also beautiful too. What will you say then? Then the squabble ensues. But let me say, parents should not force on their sons the wives to marry. Because in Tirmidhi, Sahih Tirmidhi, not Tirmidhi, a girl was married off to somebody against her will during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she lodged a complaint against her parent with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He invited the parent. She said, Ya Rasulullah, my father took my hand and gave someone that I don't love in marriage against my wish. He said, the choice is yours. Take the husband or leave it. In Tirmidhi, she said, Ya Rasulullah, I am going by the wish of my parents. I just want them to know we cannot be compelled, and you have said it. But I'm not obeying them. Just to teach them there is a lesson standing on that. If it is concerning girl, what about man? The boy, if you force him, can dump the woman and just disappear. What will you do? So it will be better the parent to consider the views of their children, but at the same time, I said it earlier, you should know your parent are your parent. So finally, I will advise you to go for the new lady your parents are giving you, especially if she has the conditions of the deed. But if the one you have chosen fulfill all the conditions of fear of Allah, she is religious, she is everything needed, the one they are giving you doesn't fear Allah, in that case they cannot be obeyed in that very case, because there is a clash of interest in that very case. Wallahu a'lam wa bihi tawfiq. Now, no. If, that's very good. If a girl brings to her parent somebody that is criminally minded, somebody of bankruptcy, immorality, doesn't fear Allah, is a drunkard, he flats around, he is shaqi, the parent have right to say, no, we can never ever give you to somebody that disobeys Allah. We will not. If you choose, you are on your own. because you claim that you have right, you can go. But let it be known our hands are off you. Yeah. Similarly, the boy cannot bring a wayward who doesn't fear Allah, a drunkard, somebody that goes naked. You want her to be the mother of your future children? No. So the parent have right to say no. That is the meaning of positive parenting. So if you introduce to them someone not accepted, they have their culture and norms in the society, to say please no, but not based on tribal or ethnicity, tribal consideration. No, he's not from our own hometown, from our country. That is immaterial. Regardless of geography, ethnicity, if the iman is there, alhamdulillah. If you're of the same tribe, fear of Allah is absent, that's the issue. Wallahu alam. Yeah, Sheikh, what's the definition of an orphan? Who is an orphan? An orphan is such a little boy that loses his father. If the father is dead and the boy is minor, that boy, that kid, that child is regarded as what? Orphan. Two conditions: the death of the father before the age of puberty. That confers on him the status of what? Being orphan. The way you place Quran, my brother, Jazakallah khairan. Alright? Usually orphan is not taken from the maternal side, it is from paternal side. Even though if one loses his mother, he is an orphan, literally, but not technically. And if he has reached the age of puberty, he is no longer an orphan, because he can fend for himself. Allahu Alam. I want to know what is the ruling about abortion and what is the fate of somebody who helped another person to do an abortion. What is abortion? Is there any medical definition of abortion? Any doctor here? Yes. Undesired baby. Is that the tech? You saw another doctor. Jazakallah khair. And he is honest. Jazakallah khair. Yeah. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Any more professional definition from the doctors here? Any legal, any medical guru here? Yes. I beg your pardon, please speak louder. Can you come here, please? We want to benefit too. Subhanallah.
I'm saying that, elimination of unwanted fetus. For instance, if immoral sex occurs between child and the father, or brother and the sister, and it brings out like shameful to the family, then the doctor will be consulted. That's such a fetus. It's not needed. So
To terminate it.
Terminate it. But there are two kinds.
Okay.
There's prevention before one. There's those like it's not the early beginning of the fertilization, which is not really that, I don't know how, but it's not early beginning of fertilization. That can be eliminated too. That's also for abortion. But abortion is completely elimination of the fetus.
Jazakallah khairah. Now we understand that another one, last. Deliberately terminate human pregnancy. Very sharp and precise. Another definition? Okay.
Abortion can be defined to be intentionally or unintentionally taken out of fetus, out of mother's womb.
Intentionally or unintentionally taking the fetus out of the mother's womb. Jazakumullah khairan. We have had a lot of, alhamdulillah, very, very educating intakes by you. Jazakumullah khair jaza. In Islam, abortion is the process of terminating a pregnancy either at the early stage or at the point when the soul has been blown into the fetus, has become a complete human. That is abortion. Okay, what necessitates abortion? There are a lot of reasons. Some because of unwanted, undesired pregnancies. That is why today, due to technology, a lot of things are given to prevent conceiving. That Islam says no to. Because it's licentiousness, so to speak. If pregnancy is legitimately conceived, it is haram to terminate it. But a'udhu billah, it happens, a girl commits the shameful thing. In order to avoid this permanent shame, this permanent scar on the family, discreetly, secretly, a medical doctor, a quack, I call him a quack, is consulted to terminate it. In that case, the ulama are saying, well, to avoid the shame, but the fetus that develops to become human being does not bear the brunt of the sin. It was not his own sin. So why do you kill him? You don't have rights. He's likely going to be a good man next time. Why do you cut short his life? You should hold you to be responsible for your irresponsibility. But as for him, allow him to live. Because you have done it. كل أمر الله لله آخره إنا لله. كل أمر الله لله آخره إنا لله. The ulama say, whatever done not for Allah, you end up saying Inna lillah, you are in a trouble. So, allow him to live. He can be somebody very important, an engineer, a mufassir, a sheikh, a hafid. You kill him. It's not his own fault. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ. That's why Islam says, don't commit zina. Don't. In Sharia, we have the 5 necessary faculties shall be preserved. If Islam says a woman should be covered, is to give her an honor, not to be cheapened. To be covered is a mark of respect for you, my sister. But abortion can be legal. How? If it is believed the babe is malformed, you know, malformation. is dangerously formed, can cause the death of the mother. It has been proved and proven, gynecologically speaking, by the competent, the medical guru has established. In that case, that can be aborted to save her life, because her life is certain, because we see her. The life of the fetus or embryo or whatever is said to be certain. You do not gamble with her life in anticipation of something you are not sure of. This reminds me of something that happened here in America. A professor in George Washington University was saying when something happened in the city of Sifna in Hillsborough County in Florida. You know what happened? 2013, on the 28th of September 2013, due to sinkhole, a guy was sleeping by the name Jeffrey Bush. Here in America, you know, Florida has a lot of these cases of sinkhole. He was asleep, 28th of September 2013. Next room, his elder brother, Jeremy Bush. Jeffrey Bush was sleeping when the sinkhole attacked. He was swallowed. His part of the room went down. He began to scream. And his brother came out. Only his hands were safe. He was down the earth. And he was going. 50 feet down, 60. He couldn't save him. He cried hell. He couldn't. Down he went. Up to date, his dead body was never recovered. So the brother was on the scene, crying. When they called police, they came, the sheriff arrived, the scene. He went quickly and withdrew the guys. Hey, leave the area, it's a dangerous area. Your brother can never be retrieved. He's gone forever. Now analysis came. A professor was saying, it will be bad for us to send our rescue team for somebody that can never ever be recovered. We cannot gamble with the life of those living for a lost man. She is applying Sharia principle here, unknown to her. This is commonsensical. It happened. The point is, you cannot gamble with the life of the woman that is pregnant in the light of clear case probability of her life being what? Lost. So in that case, the womb can be, or the fetus can be what? Aborted. But just for money, for flimsy excuses, it is haram, it's not allowed, it is illegal. Allahu Alam. Let him come. He is saying if it doesn't improve, the baby is going to come handless, legless, so to speak. But it's not posing trouble to the mother. Allow him to come. Allahu ghalibun ala amrihi. Allah is ghalib. Allah conquers everything. So we should be very careful. This question says, okay, there are some questions. Sheikh, what is the name of the Sahabi that the jinns killed? A Sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ, jinns, you know jinns, kill him. Who is that Sahabi? What's the name of the Sahabi that have never prayed, not a single sujood? He never did, but he entered paradise. Who is that? Well, this is more like kind of a quiz. It's a kind of brain-cracking inquiries. All right? What is the ruling on IVF? What is IVF? Ever heard of it? In vitro fertilization. Maybe we'll get time for this. Where the ova is extracted from the female and the sperm sample is retrieved from a man, and they are joined in laboratory dish, all right, for some time, then fertilization takes place. We said something similar to that some time back. You will hear, inshallah, fatwa given by the ulama in detail to that very effect. Another question here is contracting marriage, forged marriage on paper and divorce for getting citizenship. The ulama have given fatwa is not legal, it's not allowed. The fatwa is here in detail, but the people living in society, they know their situation. They are saying, if this kind of thing opens the gate for telling lies, for tricks, and your wife is divorced back home on paper, Allah knows it's not the case. Okay, what is the justification? Do you have any strong reason for doing that? They are asking. Is this strong enough? Can you defend in the eyes of Allah? These are some of the things they have said. But those involved know themselves better. That is the brief thing I have sourced on that very touchy issue. Oh Allah, save us from anything that's bad. Make us see what is good and follow and adhere to it. Wallahu alam. So some of these questions will be answered maybe later. There is another one talking about, can woman give zakat out of her gold or not? Somebody asked, were there black people as prophets? Yes, brother. Wa alaikum salam. Whatever it is, the fatwa of ulama, please, I want you to enter, excuse me, I will ask you, go and Google. You will see everything for yourself. Just give me some minutes. In a question sent to Islam Q&A under the supervision of a Sheikh Salih al-Munajjid, that Saudi accomplished scholar with fatwa of great scholars, question number 103,432. Check it. Ruling on getting married and divorced on paper in order to have residency in a kafir country. If I were to read the fatwa for you, you will hear everything. But for time factor, go and access it. You will judge for yourself the actual position of Islam. Wallahu alam. No, I want to check it yourself. Read it yourself. I want to prompt you. We want to create the spirit of scholarship. Check yourself for yourself and judge for yourself. Yes. I beg your pardon? We can't hear you. Who give the fatwas? The scholars. The Muslim scholars. Muslim scholars, based on organizations supported by Saudi competent scholars, Al-Lajnat Daima and the rest. I don't know which fatwa you are talking about, legal or illegal. IVF, I didn't talk about it yet. Yes? Concerning IVF, we're talking about it? Okay. Concerning IVF, we give fatwa here. If it is between man and his wife, the ova of the wife is extracted, his sperm sample taken, combined in a laboratory dish with the condition not exposing her private part to somebody. Because there has to be this, of course. Get it well. And number two, is it necessary for them to have this kind of thing? So even between man and wife that is legal, there are some conditions. Stringent, let me first. Can you hear me well? That her nudity should not be exposed to be seen by somebody on something not necessary. But if the fertilized egg and sperm are taken into different woman's ovary, that is zina. It is completely haram.
If it's done in front of the husband and the wife by a specialized doctor, is it permissible?
Without that specialized guy looking at her private part. How will you allow somebody looking at your private part?
Yeah, you can do that by that through laparoscopy. You don't have to touch the patient.
Let a woman do it instead of man. And is it necessary? After all, what makes it necessary?
Some of the wombs, some of the wombs cannot, after fertilization, from the fallopian tube, the baby cannot sit in the womb.
That's true.
The womb is broken. So sometimes either you change, if the person is new womb, which is very expensive, very, very expensive. So then somebody has to do this IVF and the baby is prepared some, and then it's done some.
Jazakallah khair. There are conditions if it is necessary, as you've mentioned. That is number one. Number two, with the condition nobody sees her private parts. That is important according to our ulama. And it should be between man and his wife that have been legally married. If it is between man and somebody, it's haram, it is zina. So with this condition, if we can maintain it, it's okay. And you think of spending huge amount of money and it's not even necessary. They're just looking for the second babe. That is why. But in the case you've mentioned, there is urgent need. They need the baby without anybody looking at a private part. We've said it, we mentioned it. In his presence, the husband, that can be allowed according to the fatwa of the ulama. Yes, there?
From our own view, the IVS, whatever it is against the creation of Allah. Because Allah has created a baby inside of the womb of a mom. If the technology have found a way to create a baby outside of that, it would be a kind of shirk. Because the person who will get the baby inside of the vitro will believe in the technology now more than he believes in Allah.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You take your wife to the hospital, he can determine the sex of the fetus through scanning. Does that make the doctor God?
I mean, most of the time, it doesn't come out true.
That's what we're saying. It tells you man is incompetent. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ أَلِيمٍ. The doctor says probably it's going to be male and female. Not necessarily. If he happens to be male, I don't take him as a God. Allah has given the knowledge and it happens. That's all. I beg your pardon? Then people should be educated. They shouldn't do that. We are telling you, if technology has gotten that point, it is Allah's gift. Alhamdulillah. We use what Allah has given, but within the confine of our Sharia. And the scholars, there is Jimmy hand. You are going beyond our level right now. We should look about the chief. Jazakallah khair. Who created the jinn, my brother? We talk about, that's a nice discussion. Oh, it has taken our time. And we shall discuss about if genes are behind technology. Are there genes in Africa?
There's more gene in technology than Africa. Because as we know that they've been on Earth before us, they know technology.
All right. If there are genes behind technology, is that bad?
To consult them about something that you can wait.
No. Consulting, you are a believer, a Muslim, you know Allah is the creator of technology, the jinns and men. So your iman is totally on Allah. You have finished everything. Whatever that comes to you, listen well. Whatever that comes in technology, you subject it to Quranic scrutiny and Sunnah. What's the trouble? What's the trouble? You have your own scrutiny. Whatever that comes to you, I have my book and Sunnah. If it's good, I take it. Otherwise, I thrash it out. That's the difference. Okay, I don't know. The time. Is it Tafseer today or Q&A? What? I don't understand it. Take it again. Okay.
What he's talking about is a couple couldn't get a baby, but the girl's mother was there, so they did the IV, took the girl's egg and her husband's sperm, mixed it, and put it in her mother's womb as a surrogate mother. That is what he's saying.
All right. You mean the ova of which of them was taken?
The daughter.
Her daughter?
Yes, and the husband's sperm combined and put in her mother's womb as a surrogate mother to give birth to them.
That's very dirty. This is an act of animalism. It's haram. Very dirty, very filthy. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. So, my brother, like this kind of technology, you cannot take it. Can you hear him? That's the example here. It's a good example. Can you imagine couple couldn't have children for quite a long time, but they have a daughter. They have a daughter. And the womb of the daughter was taken, extracted, plus the sperm of her father. Is that the case?
Her husband.
The
daughter's husband.
Oh, Allahu Akbar. And then it's haram. It's very dirty. So that kind of technology, you call it, cannot be accepted because we have our yardstick. We have the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Whatever that comes to you, claiming to be knowledge, apply the Quranic style, the sunnatic barometer. If it comes, take it. Otherwise, leave it. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Want to say something?
No.
Get permission.
Yeah, Sheikh. The time is up as we promised. Can you write the question, please? It's very important. Inshallah, please. Before we leave, people need the cards.
Give him a fresh one. Haji, bring that one. Give him a fresh one.
Jazakumullah khairan, brothers. We want to brothers and sisters, as we usually do, you see that yesterday I said we're going to have a marathon of questionnaires.